If your goal is to work as an environment artist in a AAA, AA, or in an indie studio, your portfolio is the only thing that matters. Not your diploma, not your software knowledge, not how many tutorials you've completed. Your portfolio is what will get you interviews. Most environment art portfolios fail, not because the artist lacks talent, but because they don't understand what studios are actually evaluating. After working in AAA and reviewing student portfolios for years, I've seen the same patterns again and again. In this video, I'll break down exactly how to structure a portfolio that signals this artist is hireable. The biggest mistake artists make is building a portfolio to impress other artists. Studios are not impressed by pretty renders. They're evaluating production readiness. Studios want to see that you understand how environments are built in production. Clear modular breakdowns, textile density consistency, efficient asset reuse, clean topology, performance awareness. A single beauty hero shot is not enough. Show the breakdown. Speaking of which, I'm giving away a portfolio checklist that gives many tips and directions on what to include on your portfolio, what not to forget, and basically what matters to hiring teams. So it's completely free. Check it out. The link is in the description. Fewer projects, higher depth. 2 or 3 strong production-ready projects beat 8 average scenes. Cohesion, material quality, storytelling, intentional composition, no visible issues with smoothing groups, normals, UVs, textile density, weird material blending, etc. Studios look for decision making, not decoration. Show that you can finish. One of the biggest hiring signals is, can this person finish a production level scene? You can show iteration screenshots from the blockout all the way to the final. Show process documentation. The more you have, the better. GIFs, videos, screenshots include everything. Hiring managers want predictability. They want to know, what you can do, and they want to see it. They don't want to hear it. Match the job you want. If you want to work in AAA, your portfolio should look like it belongs in AAA. If you want to work on realistic environments, don't show stylized environments. Target studios. Research their work. Match the visual quality bar. Understand the scale. What not to do. Don't include old work. Don't include tutorial copies. Don't show half-finished scenes. No work in progress unless you're a very experienced artist. Don't overload ArtStation with experiments. Curate. Don't archive. When a recruiter opens your portfolio, they're asking one question. Can this artist contribute to production tomorrow? If your work answers yes, interviews follow. So now we're going to look at what to do. So examples of portfolio from ArtStation. I do not know this artist personally, and as you can see, this is not a junior. The artist already has game credits on a very famous title, so we're not talking about a junior portfolio here. But what I wanted to showcase are those 2 portfolio pieces, which I believe they are keys to unlock interviews. This is exactly the kind of projects that will get you interviews, eventually job offers. So bear in mind, this is very high level of quality. Of course, it shows the experience of the artist and really the knowledge that he's displaying. But what I want to illustrate is that you don't need a huge environment. You do not need an epic scene with a castle in the back and crazy huge depth of field with fog and you do not need any of that. This is more for vanity, I guess, when you're junior, because you shouldn't attempt such large scale yet. You should focus on quality. And quantity is the enemy of quality when we're talking about a lone artist working on their portfolio. So tackle smaller projects, focus on smaller details, show your workflow, show that you know how things are done in studios because this is free. I will put the link to this artist's portfolio and you can study this for free. You do not need anything else. You just study the work and you do not need to replicate exactly what that project is, but you need to apply it to your own project. This is why we are artists. We're not AI bots who are just replicating stuff. We are learning from art and then we're making our own art. That's what studios are looking for. But what is important is that you show that you know the techniques, you know how to use them. You probably won't reach the same level of realism as this artist because you do not have as much experience, but this is accessible for you. You work on a project and you document it, just like a veteran artist. This is accessible. In fact, you have no excuse not to do that because that is what they want to see. They want to see your talent, of course. They want to see nice renders. They want to have a sense of what is your ceiling as an artist right now. Your ceiling will grow, will expand. But what is your talent level? How is your eye for detail? How do you combine colors? How do you blend materials? The very advanced stuff will come in time. And you will learn by experience, by working on such projects. And it's always preferable for juniors, for school graduates, to work on smaller projects so that you go through the whole workflow, the whole pipeline, much faster than if you are tackling a huge environment. If you're having a hard time mastering those competitive games, I have a solution for you. Now let me introduce you to the channel's sponsor, SkyCoach. You can get blueprints, materials, weapons, coins, keys, and much, much more for a game such as Arc Raiders, for instance, that will help you to cut through the grinding. There is currently over 120 games from the most popular games, ranging in types from MMORPGs to shooters to sports game. But SkyCoach can take your gameplay to the next level. You can have some of the best players in the game analyze your gameplay, provide feedback, and help you develop winning strategy. SkyCoach has a 4.6 rating on Trustpilot with well over 22,000 reviews. They have served over 150K customers so far, and they offer support 24/7. So you can purchase their services with peace of mind. So try out SkyCoach to bring your gaming experience to the next level. Use the link in my description and my promo code NEXTLEVEL to get 10% off. Now let's take a look at the second project. So this is something I tell all the students that are asking. Of course, you want to do an epic environment with an airship and with water and with a monster coming out of it and with huge gothic cathedral reminiscent of Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and Bloodborne. Of course, that's fun. That's how a lot of people got into game art in the first place, because they played those games. But that comes later. You should focus on quality on a smaller scale, and then you can scale it up. You can maximize your growth as an artist by going through the full pipeline. Apply the common techniques used in studios several times, over and over. And you go from the idea to the planning to the execution, all the way to the final render. And then you move on to another smaller project, and another, and another. And you can appreciate all the documentation. I'm going quite quickly because I just want to make the point that you need a lot of documentation. There is no such thing as this is too detailed. There is too much information about how you did your work. This is what other artists might tell you. True story. I showed some of my breakdowns to friends and they were like, that's great. That's really a lot of information, but I never really saw other artists do as much breakdown and give as much information. And you know what? During interviews, lead artists and art directors told me that was great. So I will take the word of the people actually hiring over anybody else. So another example of what to do for a junior artist. And again, I do not know personally this artist, but you can see that she's working as a junior environment artist at a famous AAA studio. What helped her get this job? Well, let's discuss. There are only 2 projects here, and that's the point. This is enough when the quality is high. You need a banner that reflects what you do. Are you a character artist? Are you VFX? Are you concept artist? Oh, this is an environment. So we're talking about an environment artist, right? And then we will take a look at this project, which is very intricate. So it shows a lot of things at the same time. The renders are good. Composition is nice. And we have breakdowns. We have great breakdowns. Let's take a look at the other project. So we had an interior, now we have an exterior environment. So we're covering as much ground as possible. 2 projects, 2 different purposes. That's all you need. You do not need to work for 2 years, 3 years, and pack 8, 10 projects. That is not necessary. Modular building kits, knowledge, expertise, good presentation. Again, presentation of the props. A nice video. Of her work used by someone else. If you read the description here, so a programmer colleague specializing in procedural generation. So this is how it's going to be in a studio. You might do that. By the way, it's interesting if that's what you want, that you do the modeling, you do the environment, and then you work on procedural tools. That is great. There's nothing wrong with that, either straight in Unreal or with Houdini. But the reality is in many studios, someone else would do that. Now, don't get me wrong. It's excellent if you do it yourself. But it's absolutely not a problem if you show something like this and you explain, always give credit, always say that that's not you who did that, but you are part of that teamwork. And then we see the research work. So this is a great example of a strong portfolio for junior. 2 projects, not 5, not 8, not 10. That's not needed. One shows interior, the other one shows exterior, and it also shows that it can fit in a pipeline that is used by studios. Another example of what to do for your portfolio. This is from Guillermo Fuster Orts, which is a junior prop and environment artist. Again, I do not know personally Guillermo, but great work. And this is serving our purpose of showing what to do. This is a great, great plan for a portfolio. Let's start right here. So there's 3 projects. Let's start with the one called Environment in Unreal Engine 5. And this one is videos of the environment in real time with beautiful logo of Unreal Engine, which shows that this is running in real time. So there are many more videos. I will scroll through those. So that was part of a game project that he worked on. So this is why we see a lot of context, a lot of other stuff that was done. You can see even the character. We can see some gameplay, I believe, towards the end. So that's great. That's if you attend school and you are working on a project that's worth showing, that is very good. If you don't, this is not a problem. Of course, you don't need to show a game project, but you need to show a game environment. If you show it in some kind of context, it's even better, but you're not penalized. If you attended school, you worked on a game project, but you're not happy with it for any reason, just show your art, it's enough. Now let's take a look at this breakdown. So that's a very good practice. Show the beauty shots, all the renders in one publication, and the other one as a breakdown. There's really no right way to do it. You can do all at the same time. You can divide it. It's perfect as long as it's there, right? As long as the hiring team can see the breakdown, they're gonna be very happy. So that's very clean, very well presented. That's nice. That's really what you need to apply for jobs. And you include as much information as possible. So now the other piece is a hero prop, or a more complex prop. So you have renders, of course. If it's something very old, very dirty, very banged up, it's always a big plus for the video game industry. You basically shouldn't show very clean stuff. Sci-fi would be the exception in some cases, but even sci-fi environment, they have to look lived in, and you have to show wear and tear. So a mix of videos, renders, and breakdowns with the wireframe here. This is great. We can see the topology. We can see the maps. Very nice turntable. Some more videos. So yeah, the presentation is very interesting. We have everything that we need. And if you're wondering what's really the point of a turntable for either the hero prop or other props, well, it's to show the material response to lighting. If you have worked well enough on your roughness on other maps that react to lighting, this is very good, and it can go a long way, because this is good, but this is better. We can see, yeah, okay, the material is really, really nice. Here, the material is good. And nothing wrong. The artist didn't do anything wrong, but static renders, especially for props, it can be a little bit tricky because, yeah, you have to do very well with the lighting. And it's not necessarily the case. So you have to do very well with the lighting, and it's not every environment artist who is expert at lighting. Other angles to see more details, so that's good. Of course, the wireframe, even the interactivity, that's great. That's all good. As much as you have, you should include it. And never forget your research. All your references, your boards, that is extremely important. So as you see, this is very clean. There's actually two different projects here. There's the Elysian Siege project with the breakdown, and then there's the cash register. So this seems to be the, I would say, the winning formula or a popular approach for juniors, school graduate, or starting out in the industry. To break in, you basically need one environment and one, it can be a hero prop, it can be a material breakdown, it can be procedural generation, it can be a whole lot of things. But basically, you want to show two sides, like the previous artist showed interior and exterior. That was a very good strategy. This artist showed an environment and a hero prop. So again, there is no magical formula, but there are winning strategies. And this is definitely one of them. If you want to be hired as an environment artist, if you show that you can produce good environments with breakdowns, that shows that you can work as an environment artist on general tasks. And then if you show a hero prop, it shows more advanced knowledge of modeling, texturing, etc. If you want to learn some of the systems that are used in game studios, I have created a course in which I show everything step by step. There are no time lapse, nothing is done off screen. I take the time to explain what we do and why we do it. I show best practices. And we are creating a small environment from A to Z. I'm showing every single step of how it's done on a professional production. I can answer any questions you might have on multiple platforms. The course has been named bestseller and highest rated consistently on Udemy. So if you are interested, there is a link in the description and there's a discount available with the code provided. Now here for the what not to do section. Disclaimer, this is not an insult to the artist. He is actually extremely talented. It's all about the strategy. It's about how it's going to be perceived by recruiters in studios. So the artist is Andrei Kruglov, and he's displaying really, really high level of talent, a good eye for detail, and everything is lovely. Why am I putting this in the what not to do category? Because that might be turned down immediately by many recruiters. And now I want to explain exactly why and give some context. So the artist is presenting himself as an environment 3D artist. I see one amazing environment that we're going to explore, and this is the banner. So that is what this should be. Now I see a weapon, which could be a hero prop. That's fine. Now I see a character. Now I see hard surface weapon. I see another character. I see two characters. I see a character. I see a character. I see an environment. I see an environment. So you understand where I'm going. But let's give some context. So obviously, this is a very experienced artist. With 15 years in the game industry, it's perfectly possible that someone would be extremely good and proficient in different fields. So that's okay. The angle here is to help or try to help juniors and school graduates. So this is what not to do for you guys. Okay. But on another level, there are some studios who would be very happy to have candidates like that. Namely, smaller studios, let's call it how it is, studios with less funding, indie, but very indie, like we can barely pay you indie, because that's it, that is very valuable. You have one artist that can do a bit of environment, weapons, hard surface, probably vehicles, characters, basically everything. So this is extremely valuable. This is more of a generalist portfolio. There is nothing wrong with this portfolio. What I'm saying is that young artists shouldn't do that. It will be detrimental because in some studios, especially in AAA, at least in North America, where I am and where I know, well, my network is mostly, everybody is very specialized. There are exceptions, but usually an environment artist will do environments. Maybe hero props, maybe a bit of 3D assets in general, maybe a bit of materials, but they won't do characters. Character artists will do characters, will do modeling, be doing props, materials, even a bit of VFX, but certainly not environment. That is in AAA, I would say AA also. In indie studio, it might be different, but still there are some assigned roles. And in many cases, unless you have 15 years of experience, you won't be doing that many different stuff. But let's take a look at this project because this is really the main one. But this is a beautiful project. It's gorgeous, it's lively, it's colorful, it shows a lot of experience and talent, and even the framing, the composition, the camera shots. This is absolutely great. And well, once you have 15 years of experience and you have one main portfolio piece like that, your life will be a bit easier when you apply for jobs. So this is great work. There is another video that shows a bit of, so I don't understand where the volume is. It's here. So we've seen the blockout phase, further down the road of development, real-time testing, that's great. I'm gonna move on to another video. I'm just gonna skip a little bit forward. I'm looking for breakdowns most importantly. We see a lot of in-engine walking around, which is great, which is fantastic. We'll see some vertex painting soon. So there you go. Breakdowns. Breakdowns, make it dynamic. If you have videos, GIF, it goes a long way. People in the industry are visual, okay? That should come at no surprise. This is the video game industry. You are talking to artists who have spent their life making art, working and improving on making art. So yes, everybody is visual. So visual communication is extremely valued. Documentation. So that was great. So there is a bit more. So I'm showing these things because they are extremely important. So layered materials, all the fun stuff. And as much as you show these things, this is answering the recruiter's questions before they ask you an interview. So it's checking boxes, right? It's okay, modular building, perfectly comfortable with these things, knowledge of the engine, knowledge of advanced materials, and so on and so forth. So in conclusion, for young artists, you want to have less quantity and try to maximize your quality. If you are a veteran artist, you have had the time to put in the work so that the quality is met even with large quantity. If you're serious about becoming a professional environment artist, download the free portfolio checklist below. Use it today. And if you want deeper breakdowns of production thinking, that's exactly what this channel is about. Shout out to the members of the channel, and you are all welcome to join. Additional perks will be added very soon.